Love is one of the most powerful human emotions. It's amazing to find someone who knows exactly how you feel and sends those feelings right back at you. Someone who understands you and loves you unconditionally. When we find our great loves in life, it's like everything finally shifts into focus and we can see what really matters, even if it means walking away from everything you know. Today, we're looking at 10 royals who chose love over their titles and fortunes. Let's get started. Number 10. Princess 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐊 of Thailand. Princess 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐊 met her future commoner husband while attending the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, better known as MIT, and she reportedly was forced to give up her royal post when she decided to marry him. She and her beau Peter Jensen tied the knot in 1972. Even after they divorced in 1998, she didn't completely receive her royal status back. More specifically, after the divorce, Princess 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐊 hasn't been allowed to use the title Her Royal Highness anymore. Instead, according to The Guardian, she now goes for Daughter to the Queen Regent. The princess now makes a living out of acting, and she played in a couple of famous movies in Thailand, such as Together in 2012 and My Best Bodyguard in 2010. Number 9. Princess 𝐻𝐈𝐍𝐿 Louise of Norway. This one's anything but boring, believe us. She was the first and only child of King Harald V and Queen Sonja of Norway, and in 2002, 30-year-old Princess 𝐻𝐻𝐿 Louise married a commoner, more specifically an author, Ari Behn. However, their marriage ended in 2017. Since she didn't marry a member of the royal family, the princess was stripped of her royal duties, but she's now making a living as a clairvoyant and a children's book author. Rumor has it she's even founded an angel school to teach people to communicate with angels, which is an interesting twist, I guess. And in 2019, Princess 𝐻𝐻𝐿 Louise officially announced on her Instagram she'll no longer use the title princess in commercial contexts, after overusing it for her tour called The Princess and the Shaman. A press release confirming she gave up the title was published in the papers a few days after the Instagram post. Number 8. King Carol II. King Carol II was only on the throne of Romania once, and he was forced to abdicate his title for 2 reasons, one of which was love. It seems that love and his power of seduction got him into trouble plenty of times, as Carol had a reputation for being a playboy prince. He married his first wife, Joanna Marie Lambrino, in 1918 in the Cathedral Church of Odessa, Ukraine. But in order to be there, he left his post in the army without permission, going AWOL and deserting his comrades in arms, which, of course, is a major issue. Then, in 1925, the well-known lover of all things French had an affair with a French woman. Old habits die hard, I guess. Between this indiscretion and other political reasons, Carol II left his title behind. Number 7. Prince Friso of Orange-Nassau. When Friso tied the knot with Mabel Weiss-Smit in 2004, he did not get the consent and official blessing of the Dutch Parliament. This after Prime Minister Jan-Peter Balkenende spoke to his would-be bride and found out that she had a past relationship with one of Denmark's biggest drug lords. Since getting an official blessing from the Parliament is a constitutional requirement, he abdicated shortly after the marriage while his elder brother ascended to the throne. Friso and his wife moved to London after marriage and had a child who was born with a royal title, even if her father had given up his own 2 years earlier. Sadly, though, Prince Friso was caught by an avalanche in Lecce, Austria in 2012, and after a year spent in a coma, he passed away in 2013. Number 6. Mark Phillips and Princess Anne. Captain Mark Phillips was the first husband of Princess Anne, also known for being the first daughter of Queen Elizabeth II. They married on November 14, 1973, and had 2 kids together, Peter and Zara Phillips, who were born without royal titles. Rumor has it that when the two got married, Queen Elizabeth traditionally offered Phillips an earldom, but he refused it for unknown reasons. He gave up his title as captain in order to marry Princess Anne. However, the couple separated in 1992 after it was discovered he'd had a child outside of their marriage. Number 5. King Edward VIII. Also known as the most famous king who abdicated his throne for love. In 1936, King Edward of the UK voluntarily abdicated the throne to marry Wallis Simpson, an American and 2-time divorcee. Aside from marrying a commoner, at the time the church refused to marry those who had been divorced, so Edward abdicated because he couldn't have continued as the head of the state and church without a religious ceremony. Out of love for Wallis, the former king left the throne to his brother George VI, who later gave it to his daughter Queen Elizabeth II. And just like the case of Princess 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐊 of Thailand, Edward still had the title but wasn't allowed His Royal Highness. This one just feels like true love, as controversial as it was at the time. Number 4. Princess Madeleine of Sweden. It seems like some royals make it a tradition of marrying commoners and giving up their titles, and so is the case of Princess Madeleine of Sweden, who married British-American businessman Christopher O'Neill in 2013. The thing is, it would have been easy for her spouse to earn royalty. For real, who doesn't want that? The two conditions for this would have been to take his wife's family name, Bernadotte, and then give up his American and British citizenship. He refused both of them, so Princess Madeleine chose to give up her royalties instead, but she didn't take her husband's name, instead keeping her own. Seems like the compromise was worth it though. The couple now has 3 kids born with royal titles and lives happily ever after in Florida. Number 3. Prince Philip. Prince Philip could have become a king in his own right, but he became a prince instead to marry the future Queen Elizabeth II. It's not common knowledge everywhere that Prince Philip, who became Duke of Edinburgh when he married Elizabeth, was born Prince of Denmark and Greece. Before the marriage, he also adopted the last name of his maternal grandparents, Mountbatten. And while Prince Philip didn't exactly give up a massive fortune, he did give up royal titles in 2 countries for Elizabeth. But why wasn't he named king when he married? In Britain, Queen is more of a symbolic title. The wives of monarchs are usually named so. The most common titles, though, are actually Queen Consort or Princess Consort. For example, when George VI became king, Elizabeth's mother, also known as Elizabeth I, became Queen Consort. But interestingly, when a man marries into the British monarchy, their title is Prince Consort and never King Consort. Number 2. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The couple shocked everyone in 2020 when they announced they would no longer use their royal titles in an official capacity. Then, after some perceived family drama, in February 2021, the honorary military titles and royal patronage appointments were officially taken away from Harry. The pair went on to do a bombshell interview with Oprah after the official royal exit. They've kept their title as Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but their son, Archie, did not receive a royal title when he was born. Number 1. Princess 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐊 of Japan. This is the most recent case of royalty giving up their title to marry a commoner. Princess 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐿 of Japan made the decision to marry her fiancé of 4 years, her college sweetheart Kei Komuro, who is a successful lawyer. After he returned from school in New York in 2021, he and Meiko signed their marriage papers. Just in case you were curious, the 26th of October was the official date. They're freshly married, so we can just hope they're happy and living their best life. Meiko, the niece of Emperor Naruhito, walked away from her titles and moved to New York with her husband, following the example set by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Alright, Luxers, that's a wrap for today's video, but before you go, we're curious. Have you ever given up anything for love? What was it, and did you have any regrets? Share with us in the comments, we always love hearing what you have to say. And of course, since you stuck with us until the end, we have a bonus saved just for you. The Harry and Meghan interview rocked the British royal family. Accusations of racism and neglect for Meghan's failing health came to the surface after the explosive interview, which CBS actually paid between $7 and $9 million for the licensing rights to air it on TV, even though Meghan and Harry weren't even paid for the interview. The pair fielded many questions from Oprah and got a lot of people talking. Everyone except the royal family, which has been pretty mum about it. Needless to say, they were not impressed, but many outsiders were quite happy to break the royal facade and talk about some real issues. Where do you stand on the matter, Luxer?